Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Ooh, welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by SeatGeek. This is episode 372. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin, and I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
Well, I was gonna squeeze a drink in. I thought you were still gonna drink a little swig real quick.
Giving you, I was just buying you some time. That's all.
Yeah. What's up?
Welcome to the party. So here's the deal. We're currently recording. It's Wednesday night. Usually we record Thursdays. I'm gonna pretend as though it's Thursday. So if you're listening to this, just take everything you hear tonight with that knowledge. Just pretend like it's Thursday. Nothing. I highly doubt anything is going to happen. Anything's going to change. But I'm going to market this as though it's dropping on Thursday. Like I'm going to put the date as if it's tomorrow, even though we'll definitely be done with this before then.
I like it.
So that's what we're doing. Had to do a little switcheroo because yours truly is.
You got a field trip.
Truly a field trip, and that's not a joke. So part of my duties at work during the summer is so I do social and digital media for those who don't know, and we have this agency, if you will, that's like part of it's like under our umbrella, and they do like kid stuff all year round. It's like for students and stuff. And during the summer, they take camp trips to the zoo, sporting events, so on and so forth, amusement parks. And the supervisor said, hey, we've got 2 games this summer, 2 baseball games, and I've got you signed up for both, so don't make any plans. So I'll be getting paid to go to the Phillies game tomorrow.
Yes.
And then the aforementioned game from last episode that I alluded to when talking with Ryan, Orioles game in August. So all that to say, long story short, long explanation.
Long story.
Long story long. I will not be available for recording accessibility tomorrow. So here we are on Wednesday. Here we are.
There it is. Do you get to wear your MV3 shirt or
I wish
a bright highlighter yellow I'm a chaperone shirt?
It's a bright orange, but yes. Yep.
Good for you.
So it'll be weird.
Are you going to be able to like sit there and watch games, or you're just going to like have to run kids back and forth to the bathroom?
Oh no, dude, this is super low key. I love it. We did the same thing for the Nats last year. That was my first taste of like the chaperoning for the baseball game with this crew.
Yeah.
It's super low key. So it'll be nice.
How many kids?
Probably like 20 to 30.
That's not too bad.
It's not terrible.
It's a good ratio. How many chaperones? And do you get to eat at the ballpark, or do you need to pack a lunch?
Lunch is covered, but I think it's kind of light. I mean, they're not giving us like $50 in concession vouchers. I know that much. But I hope by the time you're listening to this, the game I honestly could have already started, because I think it's like a 12:30 game. But I'm really hoping I think it's a getaway day for the Phillies, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
I think they may be in a homestand. I don't know, but I don't know if a 12:30 game is going to be featuring the game's brightest stars, a la Bryce Harper.
Yeah, that's true. Can you get a cheesesteak in? Can you at least get that?
I may have to dip into my own funds to get that. I mean, it'll be my first game at Citizens Bank, so
that's true.
We'll see.
I like it. Good for you.
Thanks, man.
A little work perk.
That's my life. I mentioned before we hopped on, I want to circle back on this take of yours from last episode, specifically, to which I told you I thought was a fantastic consideration to the whole Shohei Ohtani trade sweepstakes conversation that I hadn't even considered. And it was of you talking about what wonders it would do for Shohei's value if he was maybe traded, if his agent could facilitate a trade to an East Coast team just so he could grin and bear it for a couple months and, maybe give some teams some false hope in the offseason.
Yeah. I think it's just kind of silly to eliminate the big markets over there and eliminate half the league as not being possible suitors to sign him. Obviously this is up to the GMs. It's not like, his agent has a ton of say in this, but if there's a way to make it open, maybe that narrative starts to go away. And to be fair, the last time we heard this from Shohei's camp was, when he broke into the league 6 years ago. So that's when that conversation was had. Maybe things have changed. Who knows? Maybe he's more comfortable with who he is now and he doesn't care where he goes. So I don't think it's all these comments are like, no way he goes to the East Coast. And I'm like, well, we don't know that. I think it would be a big help for his paycheck.
For sure. No, and the whole reason I brought it up because I wanted to go through some of these comments because it's been a minute since we picked out a post and went through some comments. But I was sitting there at work today and I was getting notifications left and right, and I'm like, okay, what are they saying about Nate's take? I think it's great.
They're always throwing me under the bus though.
I don't get it, man. I thought it was a fantastic take. Somebody said, and maybe it was just worded poorly because he seemed like he was coming at it with good intentions, but jar jar_pet said, and this is on Instagram, he said, I agree with every word in this clip, but think that the Angels will hold on to Ohtani through the end of the season, knowing that there's no chance of him returning in 2024. Correct. Which is why the Angels should trade him by the deadline so that they can get something back for him, knowing he's not coming back in 2024. Again, there may have been it may have been lost in translation, something, I don't know, but based on what I'm reading, I didn't necessarily agree with that. There was a comment that says, no way he goes to the East Coast. Come on. To which I responded, did you watch the video at all? Because you literally said in the video, actually, no, let me just play this. I didn't even have it queued up, but I'm just going to play this just to give people a reminder of what you said last episode.
I'm Ohtani's agent. If there is a way you can somehow find a way to facilitate a trade to the East Coast, that just blows the doors off of his free agent market. Because everyone's talking about how he wants to stay on the West Coast, but you're eliminating half the league, if not more. If you can find a way to get a trade to the East Coast, all of a sudden starts to rack up his price this offseason.
Just a fantastic take.
I feel like the logic's there.
The logic is airtight. And then, there was one in here. He said, why in God's green earth? Somebody said, Stampers 08 said, why in God's green earth go to the East Coast when there are plenty of teams west of the Mississippi? What is so special about East Coast baseball? Angels just kicked the Yankees' ass again. And then to which I said, I'm wondering if you even watched the video at this point.
I think they just pick up every fourth word.
Again, I preach on this all the time. Awareness. Just have a little bit of awareness. I make these videos as short as I can. If I make these videos any shorter, you're not going to understand what it is that we're talking about whatsoever. 20 seconds, is that too much to ask for you to finish out a video? And then somebody said, bad content. Yankees are only serious people for a trade. There's only 6 teams in MLB that can sign him, not counting the Red Sox because they won't. Terrible content, bro.
So the Yankees aren't on the East Coast? The Mets aren't on the East Coast? Phillies, Braves. You have to, if you can.
It's a foregone conclusion. He's going to the Orioles. He's going to the Orioles.
It's just, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it needs to happen. I think it would just help him rack up more money this offseason. That's all. But I heard a take, actually. I was listening to David Cohn's podcast, and he was saying that, I don't know how this number came out or how he found this stat, but something of like over $100 million was made just on like TV rights and stuff like that during Judge's like last month of the home run race last year. It was over $100 million that went to the Yankees for this. Ohtani's in this same race. Ohtani's on pace to do exactly the same thing. So I'm sure Angels are just like, maybe we don't move him and just stack up cash, you know? But we saw that update today that it was like it was going to take some type of Soto haul to get him back.
I think you mean a Brian Reynolds like haul.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
that's the updated version.
That's the upper echelon of hauls when it comes to hauls. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Either way, I would love to see Ohtani get an opportunity to go like join. I can't even fathom. We've never seen a player like this, much less doing the things that he's doing offensively, much less switching teams and like suddenly hopping into a wild or like a insane playoff race. Like that's so unheard of. So I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be awesome for baseball if it does happen, if he does move. Because otherwise we're just going to sit back and watch this home run race and be like, for what?
Yeah, on that, I will say it's Shohei, so like I'm gonna tune in regardless if it gets down to that come the end of the season.
Yeah.
But I will say it does lack a little bit of sex appeal because it's not a Yankee chasing a Yankee.
Sure. Yeah. That all the headlines like really it made it big for Judge last year.
But on the flip side,
he's still gonna get the viewers though.
Sure. On the flip side of that though, you do have a current star chasing another current star who quite literally did this last year. So a whole different conversation or narrative could be built off that. Anyway, speaking of teams potentially in a playoff race down the stretch, I wanted to let's talk playoff odds, and I want to get your take, buy or sell, on some of these playoff odds, because there's been a lot of talk on that as of late, as it always is at this time of year. You get closer to the deadline, you start scoreboard watching a little bit, you start looking at strength of schedule, you look at teams who realistically have a shot at this thing come October. So I wanted to take a few minutes here to just run through some odds and tell me where you think the odds fall from your point of view, and if it matches what we're looking at here. I've got Fangraphs pulled up. That's the one I usually fall back on. Where do you want to start? You want to start AL East?
Sure. Let's get it out of the way.
Let's go AL East. All right. Playoff odds for the Tampa Bay Rays. I believe this is entering Wednesday, so this could change overnight, literally. But at this particular point in time, 96.4%.
Yeah, buying that. You could arguably go higher.
I was going to say. Let's just go ahead and put that on 100.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one. The Blue Jays at 75.9.
Yeah.
And I say that's interesting because you look below them, you have, I'm looking at the stand-ins that they have here. For which reason, I don't know.
The wild card standings, I mean, they hold a half game lead. Again, this is Wednesday night. Games are still going, but.
And let me add a qualifier here. This is based on the odds to win the World Series. So the order that we go through here, it's based on odds that they have
not odds of
winning the
getting
World
into the playoffs.
No. I'm saying the order of teams I'm going, like the way I'm going through the order is sorted through the World Series win odds.
Interesting. Okay.
That's just how it has it sorted.
Okay.
But as I was saying, the Orioles have higher chance to make the postseason at 83.7 over the Blue Jays at 75.9.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And then I don't know. I mean, when you look at the wild card, like,
do you think that's too high for Toronto right now, or are you buying the
75%?
Blue Jays at this point in time?
I'm buying that. I think they're going to add. I think they're going to get an arm. Probably one of the bigger rotation options if they can. But you look at the rest of the AL, like no one else out of the Central except the winner is going in the wild card. So the only other conversation you're having is with two other AL East teams in the Red Sox and Yankees, which who knows? That's probably just going to be the Red Sox here in the next few days. But and then the Astros, in the West, who you could swap in with the Rangers if the Astros get hot. So yeah, I think they're 53 and 42. They have gotten hot lately. They're 8-2 out of the last 10. So, and again, this is Wednesday night. Games are still going. But yeah, I think 75% is pretty solid. Like, there's still a chance you could cough that up. 25% chance you cough that up. I'm okay with that number.
I did have this in closing the book, but I figured now is probably a better time to bring it up. Alek Manoah, in his second start back from his demotion, let me make sure I got the numbers here. 3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 4 earned runs, 5 walks, and no Ks against the scuffling Padres. However, his first start back was significantly better. He went 6 innings, giving up 5 hits, 1 earned run, 8 Ks, albeit versus the Tigers. You were talking about possibly adding. I think that's a big... I don't think. I know that's a big piece of the puzzle here.
Yeah.
Is if you can get Manoah back to form.
When was that last start?
Yesterday. Well,
Tuesday.
Again, our days are going to be all warped here with releasing and recording and all that.
So the 17th.
Tuesday, I believe.
18th.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe.
So, yeah, yesterday, 18th. So, you basically got 2 starts left to figure out if Manoah's going to be a part of this postseason run. That's tough. I think they still add.
Well, I don't know if it might be too far going, or it might be too far to say 2 starts left to figure out if he's going to be part of the postseason run. I think he has 2 starts left to help the front office decide whether or not they're going to push their chips in for.
That's probably a better way to put it. Yeah, yeah.
But I get what you're saying.
Like I think, maybe not. Like, say, grab Stroman as an example. Say they go get Stroman.
Sure.
So the top of the rotation is going to be Gossman, Bassett, and then what I would presume would be Stroman at that point, right?
Yeah, you could probably intermix.
Barrios has been, too off and on. So, like, I think it dictates what kind of starter you go get. Do you get a Stroman or do you get someone else that's, just going to fill like the 5th in the rotation spot, expecting Manoah to be that way? So I think these next 2 starts are going to maybe not tell us whether he's going to be a part of the postseason run or not, but it's going to tell us how much they're going to spend, how much, what type of guy they're going to go get. Sure. So I'm interested to see that. I'm hearing other places for Stroman, by the way. I know I keep mentioning the Blue Jays, but I do hear like Astros are interested as well. So there's some other spots, but yeah, I mean, Manoah's got to get it going, dude. And if they do, imagine if he does and they add. Look out. 4 legit big-time starters during the postseason.
Yeah.
I know that offense hasn't been what we're expecting quite yet, but I think it's coming eventually, right? It has to.
In almost a twisted way, like the best dream come true for the front office would be Manoah kind of struggles
sucking
as we get to the deadline, forces their hand to go get a guy like Stroman, and then Manoah's like, just kidding, I'm back. And then, I mean, they may have to give up a little more to do that, but
we did hear about the Stroman tweet supporting Manoah too. So there's a little something there. Maybe.
They best buds.
A little smoke there? I think there's a little smoke there.
Best buds. I believe it. Finishing out the East here, Yankees at 35% and the Red Sox at 26.8%.
I would swap those.
Little recency bias on your part, I believe. Wow, look at us. What has gotten into us? This has just been a weird year.
They're about to get swept out west by the Angels. Everyone listening knows the result of this. It's currently in the 8th, but the Yankees have maybe one more week to decide if they're going to buy or not. What's the point of buying? And I said, I'm still on this fence. I know Cashman is going to be going down swinging but like, I think a lot of Yankees fans are like, I just sell.
No,
please get better for the future and fire the GM and manager.
No, you've kind of, I don't know if you've said this directly, but you've hinted at it before, talking about just the pride. And I don't mean like the good pride. I mean like the detrimental pride of the Yankees and their front office and not being able to take
stubborn pride.
Stubborn pride. Even though they're sitting at the bottom of the division right now, we spent all last episode essentially talking about the East and how it's not as bad as it seems. Like, yeah, it sucks you're at the bottom of the division, and you're recording. Like, there's more asked of you being in that division in order to make it out of that division. But I still think they buy regardless what happens the next week or two.
I think it's going to be a budget buy. I don't know.
You talk about Cashman going down swinging. I would not be surprised if they just push all the chips in. Say, let's go get who we got to go get. That would not surprise me in the least.
I can't imagine how green lighting Cashman just last ditch effort, give up a ton of prospects for Soto or Ohtani or I don't know. I don't see it.
We'll see.
But yeah, I think a Dylan Carlson from the Cardinals is probably the best the Yankees are going to do at the deadline.
Yeah, he's not happy out there in St. Louis. I was reading.
Not a lot of guys are.
He's not. That's fair. Not happy with the scattered opportunities for Mr. Carlson. All right, the Central, and that was stupid. I don't.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, you said Red Sox at 26%, right?
Yeah.
They go get an arm. They get a budget arm, right?
If it were up to me, and it's not, which makes it easy to pick apart the decision, I would just sell.
Yeah, they're not gonna. They're gonna go get somebody a rental. They're getting a rental.
Sure, but and I said it last episode. Get rid of Paxton. Get rid of you need Duvall to like pick it up a little bit over these next 2 weeks or however long we have. Get rid of Duvall. Get rid of Turner. Turner's been mashing so far.
That's a 1-year deal, wasn't it?
It went out today.
Or was it 2?
Yeah, 1 year. Yeah, JD's was 2, I believe. You've seen good things to look forward to. I will say that you can see a little bit of the light at the end of the tunnel. Brian Bayo, like,
But guys that aren't going to be around long term, so move those.
exactly.
Yeah.
They've been playing well, but I just don't see it in the makeup of this team. The Central, as I was saying, the way they sort this is stupid. I'm gonna switch it up here. Let's go. Let's sort it by make playoff odds. I don't know why I didn't do that from the beginning. American League Central, the Twins, the highest odds in the Central at 71.6.
So does that mean the Guardians are at like 25%?
26.2.
The rest of the division is at like 1.
Yep. Which, hold your horses. I read an article the other day that said, beware of the Tigers at the deadline if things pick up over the next 2 weeks. Because they could be buying. They're 42-52.
Only 6 back though.
Only
10 games
6
under,
back.
only 6 games back.
That's all you need to know about the American League Central. So, yeah, pretty much what you would expect. The White Sox, I read something mere minutes before we got on, and actually I want to find it because it was actually kind of interesting, and it spoke to where I was at with the White Sox just a couple weeks ago, because it took me a while to finally jump ship, but at this point I've fully jumped ship.
It was a quiet jump. I didn't see much of a splash on that one. I thought we were riding those guys for a while.
Well, I had other teams that I was more so focused on. Like I was really trying to hold out on the Cardinals,
too, right? Yeah,
Cardinals and the Padres. That was kind of like my trio that I was like, don't give up on these teams yet. But the White Sox are first off. Jay
Even
Cooter
before the Cardinals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both 10 games under 500, so it's a wash.
Jay Cooter on Twitter, big White Sox guy. He said on June 9th, the White Sox cut the division deficit to 3.5 games on June 9th. So they were like right there. And that's why I was like, do not give up on the White Sox just yet.
Right.
Luis Robert was heating up. I'm like, this team is buying at the deadline. Just sit tight. Since then, they are tied with the A's for 28th best record in the league, and they are about to be a season worst 9.5 games back.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
See ya. RIP White Sox. American League West. Unless you had any other thoughts about the Central.
I would even those numbers out a little bit more. I would say bring the Twins down to about 60-65%. Give a little more love to the Guardians.
So you're saying slide the scale a little bit in the favor of
A little bit more.
Cleveland.
Yeah. Not like they're playing great, but I don't know. I think there's something about that group. They experienced it last year. They tasted it.
I wish these, and I'm not joking to like pump up our take about the Twins over the last number of years.
No.
But I genuinely wish there was a way that these prediction systems or calculators could take into account like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like non-tangible thing, like non-statistical things.
Yeah.
Like looking at the Guardians or looking at the Twins.
Unquantifiable.
Correct. Looking at the Twins, for example, and say
Take heated of
this conversation right now.
It's headed.
Take headed of. Just look at the Twins and say we're giving them a 3/4 chance of making the postseason. I get it's a Central, but like to your point, maybe let's level it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because as we know, as we that's true. It's a 2-game lead in the Central, and you're giving them a 71.6% chance of making it in.
I don't see that.
As we know, the Twins are allergic to October.
Right.
So fix your numbers. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's too much.
The American League West. Rangers. We said a while back, we're well past the point in time of wondering if this team is for real or not. We are well past the point of wondering if this team, I think, is going to be playing in October. Safe to say you feel the same.
Here's what makes it difficult is that the Blue Jays and the Orioles make this conversation difficult. I think the number is going to be surprisingly low when you read it off because of the fact that like we said, with the wild card race right now, the Astros are holding I think a half game. No, they're in the last spot. 2.5 game lead over Boston for the last spot. The difficulty is we've seen how the Rangers can skid. They can skid, they can scuffle, they can trip. So and we've seen the Astros do what the Astros do. So if we say that the Astros just go hot and then they take that division, now you have to see okay, where are the Rangers compared to the Blue Jays and the Orioles or the Rays? That's what makes things difficult.
What's interesting, and I'm looking at it right now, they have the second highest. Someone correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. The second highest strength of schedule remaining in the American League right now.
Interesting. I'm not rooting for that. I would love for them to take the division.
Absolutely not. Yeah,
Trust
for
me.
sure.
But I don't know what the number is yet, but I think it's going to be lower than what people expect. It's pretty high.
It's not. 87.2%.
Yeah, see, that's crazy. 4.5 game lead, though, at this moment, that looks pretty solid. But again, the Astros are going to add. And they're not even the Astros yet. I don't think people understand this team regularly turns it on when August hits. There's this switch that gets flipped. So to just sit there and say that the division is over, I'm sorry, that number's too high. As much as I like the Rangers.
When it turns August, you could even go as far as saying September. It doesn't matter. They flipped a switch regardless. When they can see October on the horizon, it's a whole nother story. And to your point, while 4.5 games seem solid right now, 4.5 games can dissolve in a heartbeat.
It's quick.
That's especially like we're talking about when it comes to the Astros. Any other team, you're like, okay, yeah, you could milk that out, but Astros can make that disappear overnight.
Yeah. And Astros can make that disappear. As bad as we've seen the teams, the Yankees and the Red Sox are in that conversation, I think we can all agree that at least 3 teams are coming out of the East. Yeah. I mean, the Rays are tied with the division just because of win percentage and stuff. But you can put the Orioles or the Rays in that first spot. I think the Blue Jays are getting in. And then if we see this Yankees team add, who knows? That's all I'm saying. Slightly high. It's not that high. I would drop it down to 79%. What are the Astros at?
Astros are at 67. Mariners are at 15.3. And the Angels are at 11.3.
Dude, I saw some posts today that kept going back with the Mariners.
Oh, yeah.
It was
just pure mediocrity. Yeah.
Last 2 games. Last 10 games.
Hold on. We got to find this.
Find that post. So bad, dude. Just every single number.
Where is it?
Do you remember the account? I don't remember the account.
I don't.
Credit them at least.
Where was that? I
found it. Credit John Boy. But it is a tweet, so not credit John Boy. Ha! Credit Mariner _ Conejack. Big Mariner guy. Seattle Mariners 47-47 when this was posted like 8 hours ago on Wednesday. Last 2 games 1-1. Last 4 games 2-2. Last 6 games 3-3. Last 8 games 4-4. Last 10 games 5-5. Last 20 10-10. Last 60 games 30-30. Just the epitome of mediocrity right there. 15%, man. There was so much hype around this team. There's so much excitement, especially coming off of last year. Just really disappointing to see.
That's probably the best word to describe it.
As a baseball fan, I'm just disappointed.
Yeah. And they're playing, look, if you look at the numbers, they're playing 500 ball as we just described. Been playing 500 ball for some time now. That's nothing to turn your nose up at. Like 500 ball, especially in that division, the Angels have made things a little more challenging in that division this year. The Rangers are doing probably what a lot of people didn't think they'd be capable of doing. So
sure,
they've had a tougher go of it in the division. But like you were saying, going into this year, I think the expectations were much higher. And I just don't think we've reached that yet. Not to say that it's too late for the Mariners, but it's not looking good.
15-11 against the AL West this year. The Mariners.
Yeah, so just disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
Just all around.
That's pretty. I mean, that's
no,
right.
no.
Everybody in the West beats each other up. So I was just
No.
kind of going to your point.
Yeah.
That like, because I mean, the Rangers 16-11, Houston 19-11, Angels 16-14. They all beat each other up.
Yeah. No, I didn't mean like their division record. Like that's not necessarily disappointing. I'm just saying like generally, like the vibe surrounding the Mariners right now. I think even Mariners fans would agree. Just
disappointing.
Rather disappointing.
All-Star game, like you had it all lined up. You crushed it last year, hosting the All-Star game, hosting the draft. Come on. Your boy's in the All-Star game. He's in the home run derby. It all lines up. What happened? Not done yet, but it's kind of like a what happened for me.
In case you're wondering, a 0% chance for the Oakland Athletics to make the postseason.
Nice.
And at least the Braves. What do you think their odds are to make the playoffs? You don't have this pulled up, do you?
I do not.
Okay. What do you think their odds are?
Pulled up. I'm going to say 98.3%.
I would say you're wrong. It's 100%.
Nice. Yeah, it's the best team in baseball. I said it. Been saying it for a while, haven't we?
Been saying it since March. No, we haven't. We actually haven't been saying it since March. There's some other teams that you want to talk about disappointing have really let me and you down.
Yes.
In that conversation. But,
yes.
Sometimes in baseball, you gotta just not get cute with it and just recognize what's in front of you. And what's in front of us right now is the Atlanta Braves. Well, not just in front of us, in front of all of baseball.
The only thing you're saying right now as a Braves fan is just please keep the intensity. Please just keep your foot on everyone else's throats and just keep doing what you're doing. The worst thing you can have is to coast into the postseason and, come out fat and slow. So
I don't know, man.
They're good enough to not do that. I think they're going to add. I think they're going to fill the small little holes that they have. But at the same time, we've seen teams do that before.
And I think the Braves have shown us historically over the last number of seasons, they're good enough, even if they do coast a little bit, to flip the switch in October. That atmosphere is just top of the line.
The stadium is crazy.
It's unreal. So for me, I think it's a valid point, but personally, I would argue that equally as important, stay healthy.
Stay healthy.
Because they've had their bad run of
Yeah.
injuries over the last 2, 3, 4 seasons to
Yeah.
guys that aren't role players, to
Yeah.
put it simply.
Yeah.
So if you're the Braves, stay healthy. Phillies at 67.8%. I love that.
Let me check the wild card standings real quick. 68%.
67.8%.
It's too high.
No, I
Too
believe
high.
in the Phillies.
Too high.
I had a real
Give me 52%.
That's oddly specific.
52.7%. Just did a quick little.
Take it to the second decimal. Where are we at?
Oh, that's a 6 for sure.
52.76.
Yes.
Okay.
Wouldn't that make it 2.8? Doesn't matter. I've got the Zach Galifianakis meme GIF with all the equations.
All the
going on
numbers
in my
floating
head.
around. Yeah. No, I had a conversation with myself yesterday internally, and I was trying to figure out who
You had a conversation with yourself internally.
Correct.
It's
not-
better than external.
Correct. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not just sitting on the street corner just talking to myself, kicking a can down the road. I'm not doing that. I had to sit there and I had to ask myself, who is my adopted team? Who is my National League team?
It's of course the Phillies. What do we?
No, but joking aside, I've essentially grown up with the Nationals since 2005. I've gone to more Nationals games than Red Sox games purely based on the fact that they're right down the road.
Sure.
By far, and it's not even remotely close.
Yeah, I get it.
But I sat there and I thought, I love 2019.
there.
I love that run. Yeah, but my heart's just not there.
Yeah, it's understandable.
If the Phillies can kind of grab my heart for the next couple seasons, they might solidify that. They might lock that up.
Just come out and openly say that your heart is with B Harp, and it was
the
there.
Philly faithful.
Yes, that's it.
Tomorrow will be a good test.
Just commit.
This field trip will be a good test. It'll be a good test. If it gets the juices flowing, if I walk into CBP and the juices are flowing, I wolf down a Philly cheesesteak, I may know by the end of tomorrow. I may know for sure. We'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
The Marlins, 48.3%.
That's a little high.
You think?
Good. Yeah, not crazy high. I'll give it 42%. A little bit lower. If I'm going to drop the Phillies down, I got to drop the Marlins down a little bit, but I love what they're doing. Only half game back from the Phillies in that last wild card spot.
Okay, fair. But you got them in the 40s, though.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You just don't think they got the legs?
I don't think they have the depth. I think they're good. I think they're going to be good. They're doing the right stuff organizationally. But the Phillies have depth, and they have Dombrowski. So.
That they do.
Yeah.
Mets at 17.7?
Way too high.
What are we doing? Fangraphs, come on. Wake up, buddy.
Way too high. That needs to be below 5%. And I'm not even kidding.
Are you okay, Fangraphs? Blink if you're in danger.
So they're at 15%?
Does Steve Cohen own Fangraphs? Real talk?
Probably. He bought it before this came out. The Yankees were at 25%. They're only 3.5 games back in the wild card. The Mets are 7 games back in the wild card race.
Just
and
for
at
kicks.
15%?
Just for kicks, can you remind people how far back they're in the division right now?
The Mets?
The Mets. I love this. This just brings joy to my heart.
just a light, easy walk in the park, 16.5 games back. They're done. Cook them. They're done. They're done. Less than 5%. 15% is way too high. And that's not just Met hate.
No, 17.7.
17 is way too high. Way too high. Drop it down.
And the Nationals at 0. Central make the playoffs at the top. Brewers 77. This I don't know. I don't. This
they
might
don't,
be.
They don't like our guys in Cincy, do they?
No, I was gonna say this might be the division I disagree with most. Well, not collectively, but maybe just these top two. 73.7 for the Brewers and 18 for the Reds. Come on. You're telling me the Reds have 0.3% higher of a chance to make the postseason than the Mets. Come on. What are we doing?
Nope. I don't like it. I don't like it. Where are the Reds? 2 games back in the wild card race. I think we can agree you're getting 2 teams out of the East and you're getting 2 teams out of the West. Right? So I think the Central is just going to be the division winner.
Yeah, but we just talked about this. You can take it to the bank. The Reds are going to be buying. We know this. They've made that very clear. Whether or not they go out and actually add pieces worthwhile, that's a different conversation. But they're going to be buying. They're 2.5 back. And I get it. I agree with you. The only way into the postseason for the Central is through the division. And you're telling me that, what is that? It's been a minute since I took a math class. 73.7 minus 18%. You're telling me the Brewers have a 55.7 higher chance?
Yeah,
come on.
I don't like that.
No.
That needs to be closer to like a 65. No. Give me closer to like a 60-35. Give the rest of that division 1. That math adds up.
The Cardinals have a 10.6 chance of making the postseason.
What? That needs to be dead too. That needs to be under 5%.
Yeah, I mean if they're unloading the roster,
Is this purely mathematical?
Couldn't tell you.
Me neither. Whatever.
Like I said, I wish there was a way for it to take into account these things that people can just see with their eyeballs.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I wish they would just be like, oh, the GM said they're selling. Drop that down.
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing that.
Unfortunately, it doesn't go. Nate doesn't like the nerds.
I think there's 3 people that work at Fangraphs, and then it's just a bunch of computers. That's my theory.
That's accurate. Cubs at 6.9 and the Pirates at 0.4.
Both too high. Sorry, Pirates. That was a fun ride. That was a fun
ride. You gave us a couple clips that did pretty well. Yeah. We got to play some pirate music.
Much appreciated.
Got to raise the Jolly Roger. Nate got to raise the Jolly Roger. That was fun. But
that was fun.
Back to reality for the old Pittsburgh Pirates. Back to being the farm system for the rest of Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
National League West. The Dodgers at 94.8%. Fair assessment. Where it gets interesting.
How high?
94.8.
Yeah.
Where it gets interesting. Giants at 75.1. D-backs at 58.6. And Padres at 28.1.
No, Padres need to be way, way lower. Way lower. What was it?
Padres 28-1.
Way lower. They need to be in Metland. Below 10%.
I don't know if I can put him in Metland. The preseason pick part of me can't and simply won't put them in Metland.
All right, I'll keep him above Metland. I'll give him 15%.
I'll give him 19. I won't put him in the 20s, but
20
I'll go as
too much.
yeah,
20s.
too much. I'll go as high as I can realistically go. Now I'll give him 19.
You said run me back through the other ones. Giants were
Giants at 75-1, D-backs at 58-6. I'm gonna need that D-backs number to come up. Like
I'm gonna need that number to switch. They have the same record. It's the same exact record. Who's crunching these numbers?
it's a great question. They do. The D-backs do have a stronger strength of schedule. Trying to see here. 11 points.
We're getting 2 or 3 teams out of each, the East and the West.
11.7 chance to win the division for the D-backs. I mean, it's still, look, 2 games back.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a division lead dissolving, 2 games is nothing.
I need a Max Scherzer reunion bad.
I need it.
That'd be sick. Wouldn't mind some World Series games out here. I would go. Probably. Maybe. Depends.
Man, I'd love to make it back out to old Chase Field.
Yeah.
Love me some Chase Field.
You'll probably sneak in through the roof. It's got holes.
Well, they keep it closed all the time, even when it's like 75 degrees out and crystal clear. Yeah. We're keeping it closed tonight.
It's a brisk 110 right now, by the way. Just a little update. But the Rockies
chumps.
at 0.
Yeah.
Wow.
Love that. That was fun. I enjoyed that. I like breaking into the mind of Nate at times, especially with these randomly assigned percentages. I love getting a better understanding of how these gears turn inside that mind of yours. So that was fun. Quick run through here. We don't have to spend too much time on it, but we weren't able to get to a last episode. But this Legends Derby, this home run derby thing, what are your thoughts on that?
Love that. That's what I said. Swap that out instead of the celebrity game. This is exactly what I said. Do you remember me saying it?
I remember you saying swap it out. I didn't remember. Did you say like
I
with
said,
former?
I said I know they have that weird like home run derby X thing that they did in the streets of London virtually. No idea what that was. Didn't watch it. Didn't see any highlights of it. I saw one ad on Instagram from Nick Swisher. That was it. So I don't know how that went. I saw Dexter Fowler was in it. So whatever. That was a video
Johnny
game.
Gomes, I think, was in it.
Yeah. I said, go back. You can listen. It was after the home run derby. I said, get rid of the celebrity game. Get rid of that little home run derby X and bring back our old dudes. Bring back our guys. And that's what this is. I should work in the front office.
I'm poised to be all in on this. I'm not poo-pooing on it. And that really happens.
The fences in. We may need to move the fences in a little bit.
Oh, right. That rarely happens with me on a lot of things. Like I usually like it doesn't take long for me to kind of go one way or another on something. Like I'll look into it first, but usually, as of right now though, I'm fully open to be all in on this. My question to you though is, do you think this sounds better? And again, not trying to poo-poo on it.
It does sound better than what it will be.
Correct. That was my question because like
I agree.
While I do wholeheartedly believe that David Ortiz could still hang today, I really do. I think he could. You could get 15. You could get 15. No. I'm talking like in
the game,
actual gameplay. Give me a Nelson Cruz-esque finish to the career from David Ortiz. I think he could do it.
I could see it. Well, Nelson Cruz just got DFA'd, but sure.
We're rewinding here.
The designation.
Prior to the DFA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. I think
Nelson Cruz is 15 years older than him, so that helps too.
That's true.
But
at least 20.
I get what you're saying. I go down this path with you. I'm with you. There's a lot of luster. There's going to be a lot of talk of total home runs amongst the group that are competing, and it's going to be over 3,000 home runs or whatever. Great. It's awesome. But yeah, it's probably going to be ugly. It's probably going to be a little bit of a letdown, but I'm cool with it. The reason I'm cool with it is because kids watch the home run derby. Kids watch the All-Star game. Kids are going to see some dudes, old dudes. So just make sure you play a ton of highlights in between these 7 to 9 finishes between rounds of home run derby contestants, because that's what it's going to be. There's not too many guys getting the double digits.
So as of right now, I don't know like how formal this is, but we have, quote, commitments from Ken Griffey Jr., Albert Pujols, Jim Thome, and David Ortiz. We already know Ken Griffey we know the kid can swing it. The biggest question for me is, when's the last time Jim Thome hit a real baseball instead of those wiffle balls in the MLB studio? That's all we see him doing, just lacing doubles. Well, the hand-eye coordination's got to be there. I don't care if it's baseballs or wiffle balls.
You want to hit down.
Lima beans. The hand-eye is still there. I'm not going to debate it. We know Ken Griffey can swing it. We
saw the WBC highlights.
We saw it at the we saw it at the WBC. He can swing it.
Yeah.
Poppy, I know, can still swing it. We just got done saying Thome, the hand-eye's there, and Pujols was literally in the game like a week ago.
If you're in Pujols' family, can you just be like, dude, can you give it more than 1 year? 1 year. And now
Honestly.
you're like, let's go do some other stuff. No.
Yeah.
Go away for a minute. I don't know
he
why.
was the one. I read the article. He was the one going around at the All-Star Week, like pitching it in these guys' ears, being like, "Yo, let's run this."
Go home. Just stay home for a little bit. I think his kids are grown. That's probably why.
Yeah,
he's got nothing to do. Sick of the wife already. Sure, sign me up for the Derby.
He what?
Sick of the wife already. Just sign me up for the Derby.
Well, they got a divorce I'm pretty sure they got divorced last year.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it was ugly. I don't want to get into it, but it was ugly.
The weird, like, he's gonna retire, he's not gonna retire.
Yeah, and then she had that
right after.
Well, I don't know if they're officially divorced. I think they separated, but she had that. I think it was a brain tumor, and it was just real. Do you remember this?
Yeah. I don't want to pull at this thread anymore. You're right.
It was like real. It was not.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but it kind of tarnished his run there towards the end. I wasn't a fan of it. All that to say, though, let's see it. At the end of the day, like, let's see it. If you're gonna build this big event up and you're gonna hype it up, we know these guys are capable of
metal bats. Should we just give them metal bats instead of the fences? That'll work.
Like, come on.
Definitely no kids on the field.
I was just about to say, get
Griffey's
the kids
gonna kill
out
somebody.
of there. There'll be murder on live television.
That kid is still recovering from Seattle. We gotta find him.
I still can't. I don't know if is it okay to joke about that yet? I still don't know.
Absolutely.
Did he live though? Do we know?
I think he ran off on his own.
Did he? Okay.
On his own abilities, he's fine.
All right.
He's crying into his glove, but he got off on his own.
That was ugly. I think more than just his face was hurt. I think his ego and pride
it took a big check. He's staying home for a minute.
Took a big blow.
Probably transferred schools.
Probably is not going to school in general.
He's getting homeschooled now.
Homeschooled.
Yeah, his face is all messed up. Oh boy, I'm sorry. That was
all right. Moving on. All right. Some notable performances. I'm going to run through these real quick because I know.
Yeah, we got to get to our matchups.
Did you do a deep dive again?
Slightly deep dive. I'll go quick.
All right. Oh boy, I gotta move quick here then. Some notable performances as of late. How about like a third of the league? Tuesday night,
dude.
12 teams scored 10 plus runs, the second most on a single day in MLB history and the most since 1894.
That's sweet. That's super sick.
You had the D-backs and the Braves D-backs won 16-13. The Giants won 11-10. The the Mets won 11-10, and then the Royals won 11-10.
That's wild. I saw some.
Wait, that's not even.
How many you got?
That's not even 12 teams. I'm missing somebody. Or I'm missing like a third of the group. Either way, I just pulled the graphic.
I saw a D-backs post that was like they were like 0-900 and something when they've given up 13 runs or more. So I was like, oh, pretty neat. Just chalk that up as a dub.
Chalk it up as a dub. Kyle Bradish. I know Ryan gave him some props last episode.
Is it Bradish? Is it
Bradish? Kyle Bradish.
There is one D. I get what you're doing there, right? There's not two D's.
No, there's one D.
Bradish. I could work with it.
Bradish.
I don't know.
Back-to-back scoreless outings for him. Has a 1-4-1. Honestly, this guy belongs more in the fantasy players to add segment, but I already had that filled out, so I just still wanted to give him his props. Has a 1.41 ERA over his last 6 starts, which amounts to 38 1/3 innings. His last 6 starts, though, you hear that and you go, well, who did he play? Or who did he face? Last 6 starts in order: Toronto, Tampa Bay, Seattle, Minnesota, New York Yankees, and Miami.
All good bangers, dude. Most of those teams can hit.
Offensively, at least, solid across the board.
Yeah.
Cody Bellinger.
Stud.
Heading into Wednesdays.
I love that he's back, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It's
I think we called this.
I think we did too. It's good for baseball.
Heading into Wednesday's game, he was slashing 308, 365, and 523. It's the, I want to make sure I'm reading this correctly. By measure of weighted runs created plus, it's the 3rd strongest rate production of his career. The note that I wanted to include, though, after striking out around 27% of the time between 2021 and 2022, he's down to a 17.7 clip. So cutting down on strikeouts. He's still lacking the juice from that he had back in 19, but
yeah,
still doing the thing. And
went into the break banging, came out of the break banging, and his stock just keeps rising. The Cubs are happy.
Oh yeah. Since
it's going to need to be filled with a couple prospects. Going to be a couple dudes to get him.
Since being reinstated from the IL, he's hitting at a 366, 408, 570 clip. So
solid.
Cody Bellinger will be headed elsewhere. Fantasy players to add. Moving right along to our next segment here. CJ Abrams for Washington. Heading into Wednesday's action, he has 68 points in the last 30 days, which you're wondering, what does that mean? That's 1 less point than Bobby Witt Jr., who's having a great year, especially last month or so. And that's more than Vladdy Jr., Fernando Tatis, and Luis Arias, among others, over the last 30 days. So
big names.
Consider adding him if you're looking for a depth piece. He's rostered in 18.2% of leagues. He has recently seen a 9.2% bump. So snatch him up.
Good thing defensive stuff doesn't count in fantasy. Yikes.
Yeah. And then the only other player I had, Nick Pivetta. He's now in the role of long relief. His last outing on Monday struck out 13 in relief.
I saw that.
I think it was 3 shy. I may be one off there. I think it was 3 shy of tying the all-time record for strikeouts in a relief appearance.
What was that game? Was that an opener? Or what was did the starter get bounced right away?
I missed that game, to be quite honest with you, but I was keeping up with the updates.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what led to him being put into that position, but had 13 strikeouts. But prior to that, he had outings as reliever of 16 and 12. So if you're getting that out of a reliever, that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
He's rostered in 7% of leagues. he's only seen a 1.9% bump as of Wednesday. So
If you got room.
consider adding him. You want me to knock out my weekend series watch?
Yeah, just get out of my way.
I'll get out of the bulldozer's way here.
Yeah.
So look, this weekend we got some. I gotta say, more solid matchups than maybe previous weekends
Good
we've
weekend.
seen.
Yeah.
We got the Braves, Brewers, D-backs, and Reds, but the one that I'm most interested in is the Dodgers and the Rangers. Game 1, we've got Tony Gonsolin. This could be a World Series preview.
True.
For all intents and purposes. Game 1, Tony Gonsolin versus Andrew Heaney. Game 2, Bobby Miller versus Dane Dunning. And Game 3, rookie Emmett Sheehan versus Martin Perez.
Done?
All done. That's going to be a good one. I'm gonna do what I can to tune in for this one.
Yeah. Well, mine might be starting as people are listening. Maybe. Who knows? This is a 4-game set. Starts tomorrow/today for listeners. So it is Thursday. The Orioles going down to the Trop. Ooh, boy. Put the gloves on. At the moment of this recording, or the moment of my notes, Orioles 58-27, 8-2 in their last 10. Rays 60-39, 3-7 in their last 10. And the Orioles, yeah, I mean, they're hot, and technically they lead the division. I think based on win percentage, just because there's a difference in games played. But either way, this is going to be a big one. Game 1, you got Kyle Gibson going for the O's. 9-6 this year, 4.77 ERA. Really struggled his last time out. For fantasy guys, on the 15th against Miami, he went 5 1/3, 9 hits, 5 earned runs for -4 points in fantasy. Bit of a struggle there. But try to find something positive for him. His K per 9 is actually pretty good. It's apparently, I think, 11th in all of baseball for... I can't read my notes. I don't know. It could be 11th in baseball. It's hard to say. Oh, that's not Ks per 9. It should be home runs per 9. That's what it is. I think it's home runs per 9 is really bad. I don't know. Sorry, notes. Moving on. Tyler Glasnow. Going game 1 for the Rays. 3-3 this year, 3.78 ERA. Did Glasnow stuff on the 15th against the Royals. 6 innings, 1 earned run, 7 Ks. Barrel percentage is the little nugget that's scaring me for Glasnow, though. 17% barrel percentage this year. His career average is 8%. So, don't love that. Kyle Bradish, Bradish, Radish, B-Rad, Dish. Going game 2 for the Orioles. 3.05 ERA. Let's go. 17 games started this year. I think he's kind of established that he's good. You mentioned it already. His last time out against Miami, 7 1/3. No earned runs. 8 Ks, 1 walk. 28 points in fantasy, by the way. And has averaged 19.6 points in fantasy over his last 5 starts. So doing his thing. Zach Eflin going game 2 for the Rays. 10-5, 3.39 ERA. I mean, can we talk about like somebody that doesn't get enough love? It's this guy. Like, not enough respect. 105 Ks in 105 innings this year in his 18 starts. Did struggle last time out, though. Interesting note here against the Royals. Only 3 innings, gave up 5. Get this, though. Amongst MLB starters, he ranks 10th in WAR. He's tied for 10th. Some other names. It's a 2.6 WAR. Other names he's tied with: Garrett Cole, Jesus Luzardo, Marcus Stroman.
Strong company.
So, like, I think Eflin needs a little bit more respect. By the way, I never spell his name correctly, ever, when I write my notes. I don't know why. It's always a double F.
Include me in that camp. You give me 10 tries.
Fair enough.
Maybe like 4th or 5th.
And
try.
I always do the wrong Zach. I think it's Zach. I keep
Oh,
putting
true.
I keep putting the K.
No, give me 10 tries, maybe
It's a
like
mess. It's a
ninth or
mess.
10th try.
Yeah, I'm
Probably.
not clean on that at all. Game 3 started for the Orioles. Look, I'm waiting to see what the hype is about with Grayson Rodriguez. I'm not seeing what everyone's been so excited about.
His run in AAA, when they sent him down, his run in AAA was strong. So I think the reason they brought him up is because they had seen enough and they felt comfortable bringing him up. So
This tells me they need to go get somebody like a Shohei to add to that rotation.
I mean, it's right there for you. Come on, Baltimore. What are we doing?
Oh, man. In his 11 starts, it's a 7.33 ERA. He's given up 65 hits in 50 and 1/3 innings. Last time out against the Dodgers, more of the same. 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, and only got 2 points in fantasy, totaling negative 11 points in fantasy in his last 6 starts. Total. Not good. Stay away in fantasy. Maybe stay away in this game too. Going against McClanahan, 11-1, 2.56. I mean, the guy's the guy. He's the guy. Last time out against Texas, held it down considering it's Texas.
That was his return from the IL, I believe. Last outing.
Was it Tuesday? I believe.
Yeah.
Monday maybe. Against Texas, yeah. 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 6 Ks. That'll do it. Get this: leads all of baseball in left on base percentage amongst starters. 87.6% left on base percentage.
Love that.
So dude knows how to get out of jams. And then game 4, finishing up on Sunday. I think this is going to be a slugfest. I would, if I'm a bettor, I would probably take the over. I don't know what the line's going to be at, but Tyler Wells going against the O's. And I get it. Everyone's saying like, hey, Tyler Wells, pretty good though. Yeah. 7-5 this year, 3.54 ERA, throwing some innings. Really struggled last time out against the Dodgers, but hey, it's the Dodgers. Like, Tyler Wells is still pretty good, right? We're still talking about that. He ranks in the bottom 20 with home run to fly ball percentage. Bottom 20 of all starting pitchers. Who's the number 1 home run team in all of AL right now? Tampa Bay Rays. Let's look to the other side. Taj Bradley. 5-6, 5.29 ERA. Last time out against Texas, not too bad. 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 9 Ks, a lot of strikeouts. But if he qualified, he's only made 16 starts, does not qualify compared to the other starters. But if he did, he would have the 6th worst home run to fly ball percentage. That's 17.2%. I think we're going to see some runs on Sunday. And I think it's going to be an important game. I think the Rays are going to try. There's my prediction. The Rays are going to be playing Sunday to try and walk out of there with a split.
Rays just got swept by Texas.
I think the Orioles are coming in. They're going to do their thing. I think the Orioles take 3 out of 1. 3 out of 4. Yeah.
You said this is in Tampa?
In Tampa.
Oof, that's
big dog stuff. Hey,
well, I mean, it's not much of a home field advantage if we're being honest.
For
but
sure.
Still,
For
it's
sure.
a little bold.
Give me it.
I like it. Is that the series?
That's the series. 4-game set. That's going to be the one to watch. I don't know about yours. Definitely this one. No, I'm just kidding. Yours is good.
Dodgers Rangers pretty solid. That's we're talking.
Underrated, though. The
We're
other one you
looking at-
mentioned, I was thinking about going D-backs Reds. That's going to be sweet.
That would have been my 1B.
Yeah.
I mean, yours is like an ALCS or like some
True.
sort of American League matchup.
True.
I'm looking at like a World Series matchup, but
Yeah.
I'm a little biased towards the American League East, so I would give the advantage to you. But
this one's going to go.
that'll be a good one. All right, well that'll do it. I feel like we covered a lot. We will see you guys next week. Nate, you got anything for the people before we get out of here?
Nope. Nothing really. Nothing special happening this weekend, I don't think.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed the early.
I'm just gonna stay inside. I'm scared of the sun right now.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable. People out here are talking about it. They're like, man, did you
Really?
hear how bad it is out in Arizona? I'm like, oh, I hear. I hear. No, so we'll see you guys next week. Hope you guys enjoyed the early dropped pod.
Yeah.
That is, if you took advantage, maybe you just listened to it at normal time and didn't make a difference in your life. But
An early ride to work. Maybe
There you
there's
go.
those early risers.
there you go.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed it. We will see you guys next week. And as always, on these second pods of the week, have a great weekend.
Yeah.
And watch some good baseball.
Rate, review, subscribe, hit us up on YouTube. We're matching today. You would only know that if you're watching YouTube. Don't be rude. We need it. Thank you. Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.